All right, LeBron, 6 turnovers tonight, a -11 in the box score. A little bit salty. A little bit salty after the game. I think he was talking about his 6 turnovers in depth, play-by-play style, going through them all, saying he maybe had 2 of them that were terrible.
Does he ever mention his teammates?
I don't know.
And when he was talking about his turnovers,
Go off.
Well, it was everybody else's teammate. Yeah. Everybody else's turnovers. Yeah. He only had 2 turnovers. How many did he have? 6?
He had 6 total.
But only 2 were bad.
That's what he said.
All turnovers
Go check
bad?
the tape. Go check the tape on CLNSmedia.com.
A lot of people aren't talking about right now is that it's a very high pollen count in the New England area. And I would venture to guess that he's got a bad allergy going on. Because watching him play tonight, huffing and puffing, slow, hands in his head on the bench. I think this guy's got a big pollen allergy.
No, in all truth, Jimmy, I mean, it brings me back to the old days when it was the old Big Three against LeBron. And someone asked him about that tonight. He wouldn't answer it. But the point is, back then, back then we used to, the new old Big Three. Yeah. Back then we used to watch KG huff and puff, Pierce huff and puff. LeBron's getting a little old now. We're the young boys in town. You know, it's kind of nice.
Let's travel back to this morning. What did you guys think of him reading the book and at the shoot-around? I mean, I know
he
you
read
love
The
that
Godfather
stuff, right?
for like 14 seasons, didn't he? Like his entire career, he's been reading the same book.
He claims
that he's just The Alchemist.
He claims
is that what
that he liked The Godfather so much. His teammates were like, "Dude, you're still reading The Godfather." He's like, "I'm just reading it again. Like I'm reading it over again because I liked it so much."
So many lessons in The Godfather, right?
So yeah, the whole reading in public thing. I mean, I don't know.
Truthfully,
take that any way you want.
It is what he is. He's a fraud. But we can make fun of, we can poke fun at LeBron as much as we'd like. Truth is, tonight...
So he can't read? Is that what you're trying to say? He's a fraud?
Dude, people who read and like leave it on, they post it to their locker so you know what they're reading, want you to know they're reading. Yeah. Right. I mean, everything he does is kind of that way. But let's talk about on the court.
Okay.
Really huffing and puffing tonight, not getting back on defense, not making the proper switches, doing a lot of standing and watching. He even evaded a fight. He stayed away from even trying to break it up. He was like on the other end of the court. No, but he didn't even try to break it up.
This isn't like Lance Stevenson.
Brad Stevens sprinted out. That was very great.
That was very good.
Yeah, it was great.
For me, it stood out. I mean, I think LeBron, tired is part of it, but I think frustrated is a big part of it. I think he just looks around and he's like, man, like, if I don't drop 40, like, we're not going to win this game. And he dropped 26 tonight. Yep. He had 2 points in the fourth quarter. That's what really stood out to me. I mean, the guy was I don't want to say non-existent, but, like, he was, for LeBron James standards, he was pretty non-existent in that fourth quarter.
And neither team were very good tonight.
No, they weren't.
But LeBron, and we've seen it before, we talked about it, at the end of the season, and then previewing this playoff series, is you got to frustrate LeBron because he's going to throw his hands up in the air.
Right.
His teammates aren't that bad. It's like the same thing as in 2010 when he had 66 wins. I mean, his teammates, he has Kevin Love on his team, who the Celtics, all of Boston begged him to come here. Thank God he didn't. But he has Kevin Love on his team.
There's talent there, obviously.
Smith. He's got a nice young core that he wanted, that he blew up. He could have had other players there.
I don't know how much he wants this team. I don't think he wants this.
Well, no, he doesn't want it now because they're losing. They're not. They're struggling.
So do you give credit to Marcus Morris, though, in this game especially? I mean,
no,
LeBron
he gave up. If LeBron wanted to score 60, he would have scored 60.
I disagree. I think you got.
He mentioned Morris twice in the postgame press conference.
You think LeBron James didn't want to score 60 and win the game? I mean, come on.
I think it's silly for me to say something like that.
You got to give credit partially to the way they defended him, and they made it difficult for him. They made him run. They got out in transition, and they made everyone on the Cavs get back, and it was a faster paced.
And the irony of that is,
a lot of that is because of misses, right?
Yeah.
So the Celtics are missing a lot. The Cavs are missing a lot. There's a lot of going back and forth. There was a sloppy game. It's not gonna go down in the history books as an all-time great game.
No.
But sometimes it doesn't matter. A win is a win. You got to win the ugly game. It's a lot better to be on the winning end of an ugly game than it is to be on the losing end. It doesn't matter. At the end, 5 years from now, it'll say, whatever the series was, and no one's going to think, oh, well, that was that one game that was ugly. I mean, they won the game. LeBron stunk. Once again, I mean, he put up a stinker in the Garden, and that will, when his number goes up, there's going to be a big, long story on just the battles with the Celtics. And this is just one of them.
For sure. And you're talking like multi-generational teams.
Sure.
I mean, you span multiple generations. What's with the skip pass? I mean, it's like basketball fundamental no-no. Like, you don't throw these cross-court I mean,
trying to do too much.
Yeah, and in the first quarter, Kevin Love was connecting on jumpers, but he got tired too. So when the Celtics were out in Cleveland, you didn't want the Cavs to run so much. They were running them out of the gym. But now I'm starting to think, yeah, you got to run if you're Brad Stevens because this team looks like they have tired legs, Cleveland. Yeah. LeBron in particular.
All right, we'll see how LeBron James responds in Game 6 on Friday night at the Q.
Trags will be there.
Trags will be there as well.